Al in Minneapolis, listening on KTNF. Hey, Al, what's on your mind today?
Hi, Thom. Thanks for taking my call. I have a huge favor to ask regarding voter suppression conducted by Republicans. The first thing I heard recently that their efforts have been successful in suppressing 16% of Democrat votes and only 6% of Republican votes, and I suspect that's because they work hard in Democrat-leaning districts. But here's what I'm going to propose, and I've tried it with Ellison's office and in the national DFL, and I've heard nothing back. But we need to start with the Democratic Party soliciting donations immediately for the 2018 election to get into every of the 50 states with volunteers and expense money to register people to vote. And also play the game and meet the guidelines of the state. If they need voter ID, get them voter ID. If they've moved the DMV 50 miles away like they've done in Wisconsin, get a bus and take them there. Buy them a box lunch. Do it with volunteers and subsidize it with the Democratic funds. One more point. When we talk about people who've been purged from the voter rolls, get into these states, get that list, get those people back on the rolls, pay the legal expense to do it, and keep monitoring them, up to election date. That way the volunteers will get a certain rapport with voters all over the country, and they can keep following them and get the Democrats out to vote.
Right. No, I don't disagree with you, Al. I would put a codicil on that. However, the Clinton campaign and the Democrat and the DNC, for that matter, ran a very well-funded, very well-coordinated, very professional, a lot of volunteers, and also a lot of paid staff, get out the vote effort this year, and it didn't work as well as Donald Trump's simple bumper sticker repeated over and over. I'm going to help you. I'm going to bring your jobs back. I'm going to protect you. That basically, I think his economic message is what won out everything, and that's where he's actually screwing people, ironically. But it's not just get out the vote. It's I don't disagree that we need to be absolutely doing that. And this is the thing that concerns me, is that Donald Trump has already started the 2018 campaign. That's what you saw yesterday in Indianapolis. It was the kicking off of the 2018 campaign. He was saying, okay, I am keeping my campaign promises. Look at this. I kept these jobs in America. Y'all can just kind of go to sleep for 2 years, and don't worry, everything's in good hands. And, go back to watching Fox News. Don't question, what we're up to. We've got this under control. And meanwhile, the Democrats, there's some fighting going on, and fighting is probably the wrong word, about, who's going to run the Democratic Party and all this kind of stuff. But the Democrats are starting to get their message together, and a lot of their surrogates are starting to get their message together, and there now exists a progressive media infrastructure, most of it online, but nonetheless a progressive, which is one of the reasons why the Republicans hate net neutrality. But there's a progressive media structure that is in place and that didn't exist in the 1980s during the Reagan administration. So I think that, we have the opportunity to be pushing back, effectively, and to call these guys out, all this kind of stuff. But and we need to be doing it on, on steroids. We really need to amp this effort up. But it's not going to be enough just to get out the vote. We have to have an absolute, clear, populist, economic-based message that is a repudiation of the neoliberal economics that have been bought into by both Republicans and Democrats since the late 1970s, by and large. Thatcherism, Reaganism. We are still living under the rules of Reaganism. And we need to just completely repudiate that. I'm totally down with Chuck Schumer gave his speech here last year. I played clips from it a couple of times now on this program, where he just points this out. He was sounding like FDR. And there are people, and I think that this is why he expanded the leadership of the Senate, to include Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. is that we need to have a clean, clear economic message, in addition to a few others, that says, you know, we are going to do what Donald Trump said he was going to do. He ain't going to do it, or at least he ain't going to do it right. We will. Al, thanks a lot for the call. Thanks for listening to us in Minneapolis.